Hi everybody, welcome to Shivers. Today we're doing a new movie review for the new movie Ready or Not 2. This came out last Friday and a week early on March 20th. So we already had it on our calendar seat on the 27th, which was the original release date. So that's when the Shivers group went. So just like any other reviews, if you want it to be spoiler free, just go all the way to the ending for the actual rating. Otherwise, I'll start to explain a little bit of the story and give you a recap from Ready or Not 1. So Ready or Not 2, as of today, stands at 73% on Rotten Tomatoes, still has a 93% from audience score. So this is what Scream 7 wished it could have done. But we have a really star-studded cast. We have Samara Weaving. She was the star of the last one. She's the star of this one. She was in The Babysitter as well. She's been in a couple of things, but she's really paving her way to become a solid Scream queen. We then have Catherine Newton, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Sean Hatsoy, David Cronenberg, which is pretty cool, and Elijah Wood. There's a lot more actors, but these are the ones that are a little bit more hometown names, I guess you can say. So when we get into the actual story of Ready or Not 2, we pick right up from the ending of Ready or Not 1. I watched them backwards, so I didn't want to go in with any preconceived notions, any memories, anything like that. So I did not rewatch Ready or Not 1 until after this movie. But even the ending scene, it lines up exactly perfect. She sits on the stairs outside of the home in the first one, and second one picks up, she's sitting on the stairs, the police are coming, everything like that. For the first one, as a recap of the storyline, we have Samara Weaving, who is getting married into the Ladomas family. And the Ladomas family is very, very illustrious, known for their game making. They've made insane amount of money on board games over the years. And so she's now marrying into this family, coming from pretty much nothing. And they have all of these traditions within this very traditional family. One of which says that not only do this new married couple have to get married on the property, but they also have to play a game. So clock strikes, let's pretend midnight. They go into this secret room that is held for family members only, and she has to pull a card. That card will tell her what game she's going to be playing tonight, and her only role is to win said game. So all the while, this family's been very like hush hush on all of these games and all of these rules and everything that's coming up. So she just thinks that it's silly, traditional fun. She pulls the hide and seek card, which is very evident by what this whole movie is all about. And everyone's pretty much devastated. It's very rare for someone to pull the hide and seek card, but if they do, the entire family has to find them and kill them by dawn. Otherwise, the entire family is obliterated by this sort of devil man and Mr. LaBelle. And so if Mr. LaBelle sees that this family has failed to kill this new spouse by dawn, then the entire family will be obliterated. So again, Samara Weaving, her name is Grace. Grace doesn't really believe it. She thinks that it's all just storytelling. So she's having fun playing hide and seek, and she gets kind of bored. So then she goes to find her new spouse, and in that room, they accidentally kill the help. And once she sees that real people are dying, then it's a whole new game to play. Her new husband is very apologetic. He's like, it's incredibly rare for someone to pull hide and seek, and so that's why I didn't really even want to tell you about it, because you would have left me for a risk. And she's like, yeah, but the risk that is now happening. So as the rest of the night goes on for Ready or Not 1, she's able to escape each of the family members and then there were none style. And we get to dawn, and of course it's her versus her husband. And he's like, I can't believe that you made it till dawn, but like, do you really have anything to live for? Because now you married into this family. That's the only thing that really gave you anything. And so now she's seeing his true colors because he wants to live. She lets it get till dawn, and then every one of the remaining family members literally blows up. Mr. LaBelle appears as almost a figment and nods to her. So that's how the ending of Ready or Not 1 goes. Now we pick directly up for Ready or Not 2. She's picked up by the police off of that front stoop and taken to the hospital, where she's handcuffed to the hospital. In the background, in the meantime, all of these other illustrious families are having these conversations of the Ladomases are dead by just some random girl. How is this possible? How did someone fail at hide and seek? This has never happened before. And so they're like, okay, now we're going to consult the rule book. So Elijah Wood is Mr. LaBelle's sort of conduit, I guess you can say. He's the rule keeper. He has this giant book of rules, expectations, clauses, caveats, anything that could have been written over the years to change or to honor the rules of Mr. LaBelle. So they ask Elijah Wood, what are we supposed to do? And he says, we need to get all of the high-standing families, and the top person in their hierarchy of their family is allowed to go hunt. So we're basically going to have a Ready or Not 2, but more Hunger Games style. So even before, like in the previews for the movie, the Hunger Games came up, and I was like, why is the Hunger Games a commercial for a horror movie? But very much in the realm of the Hunger Games. So we then take Grace from the hospital, where, again, these illustrious families control everything. So one person tries to sneak into the hospital and kill her directly there. That was breaking the rules. So he exploded. Grace's emergency contact is her sister Faith. And so this is the first time that we're seeing or knowing that she has any family members. And Grace is the one who, Faith is the one who is played by Catherine Newton. So Catherine Newton is her younger sister. She says, I haven't spoken to you in a whole bunch of years, but you know, you're my emergency contact, and they called me, so I figured I would come and help you. So while they're there, there's no time to explain anything. This guy blows up. They have to get out of the hospital. As soon as they're about to leave, they are kidnapped. Now they are taken to this giant estate, pretty much run by Sarah Michelle Gellar and her brother, Titus, because their father, who was the one who's played by David Cronenberg, is the one who sort of kicked all of this off. He's like, you guys have to fight for our right to get the seat, because the Ladomas was number one. Now they're all dead. Now whoever kills the spouse in this round 2 hide and seek gets to take that main throne, basically. So David Cronenberg said, you children have to kill me so that you can go fight, because I'm too weak to fight, and those are the rules. So already we know that this brother-sister combo are going to be kind of aggressive, because in the very beginning of the movie, they kill their dad. So now everybody is there ready to fight with their really dramatic weapons and outfits and motives and things like that. One girl in particular shows up, and she says that she was engaged to Alex, who was Grace's now deceased husband of the Ladomas family, and he left her to go with Grace. So she's like, for me, this is personal. Not only did this girl take what should have been my husband, but now she also opened up this slot for our family to potentially succeed. Hell yeah, get me in there. I want to fight her. And she has to wait for her father, because her father is the head of the hierarchy. So all of these really snotty rich people don't really know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to cheat ways to get around it. We have one person who approaches Grace and says, there's a loophole. If you marry someone in one of these families, then both of these families get to be leadership, and they can't harm you. They can't do anything to you. So she's like, if you marry my son, then our entire family gets the lineage. You don't even have to talk to him. You don't have to be his real life spouse, but that's the loophole. So she's like, yeah, I'm not going to marry your husband, because then that means that I'm going to be a slave to Mr. LaBelle forever. So no, thank you. So it's very action oriented. Again, it's almost Hunger Games style. They keep getting caught in all these different locations. They keep getting beat up to hell. And as we're sort of pursuing the ending, it's still the brother and sister who end up being the ones that are left. And the brother just completely beats the shit out of the sister. Not only his own sister, he does hit her, but the Catherine Newton, Faith, it's crazy. It's like an action movie, just how much brutality is in that scene in particular, and how great of a job he does at acting. because you believe that he like hates her guts. So Samara Weaving Grace, she says, please stop beating up my sister. You're gonna kill her. Someone else found a loophole that says that if we get married, we both get everything. Your sister's sort of out, but still involved. And that way we can take leadership. So in one fell swoop, he looks at his sister, he snaps her neck, and he's like, yeah, I accept your proposal, because then that means that I get to be in charge, and that's all I've wanted this entire time. So they get prepared for this wedding. Elijah Wood, as the rule keeper, is also the officiant of this wedding, and he says we can get married in the Black Temple because there is one in this building. So made a couple of calls to get an audience ready for a wedding before dawn, and everything starts to just sort of happen in this Black Temple. It's a conversation about who's going to be in charge and what is Grace going to do. Faith is still alive, but she's like hanging on. And this pit opens up. And so they're about to sacrifice a goat after they get married. And whoever holds this one specific ring by dawn is going to be the one who has the main leadership for everybody else. So they make the mistake of giving that to Grace. She throws it into the pit where they're about to sacrifice and kill that goat. And she's like, if you guys really want it, there's your needle in the haystack moment. Who's going to jump down in the goat pit to get a ring before dawn? So everyone starts jumping down there. It's very comedic, but dawn hits, no one has it. So the entirety of the system is sort of crumpled at its feet. Elijah Wood runs away because he has no stake in the claim other than a rule keeper. And Mr. LaBelle appears again, also as another like ghostly figure, and nods to Grace one more time. So there's a respect for gameplay there for sure, but that's pretty much how it ends. And so now getting into the actual rating for this movie, I will say I really liked it. And rewatching Ready or Not 1 after, I actually kind of preferred to do that than going in with any type of expectations, because I would say I like this one a little bit better than the first one. I think they're both really solid movies. I think they're gonna turn into sort of classics. Like, I would predict in 20-25 years from now, people who are talking about Ready or Not, it's gonna be not nearly as big as something like Scream, but like people should and will know what this movie is, I think. So yeah, for story itself, for Ready or Not 2, I would give it a 4. I think they did a good job, especially with the continuity of it. There were 2 people in the Shivers group who came to the movies with us who did not see Ready or Not 1, and they were like, yeah, I mean, it would be nice to get a little bit more clarifier, but it was very easy to follow. So originality, I would knock it a little bit. I would give it a 3 out of 5. I think because of it being so like hunt and kill type of thing, it made me think very much of the Hunger Games, but more so of The Hunt. I absolutely love The Hunt, and I think it's not talked about enough, but I think that this movie borrowed just a little bit too much from that, especially with the class system a little bit. Like, that's not the intent of this movie. It's not a political driven movie other than the absurdity of the rich, but just sort of the same feeling, vibe, flavor of The Hunt versus this. I think they're very similar. So acting, I would give it a 4.5. I think that everybody did a really great job. I'm not the biggest fan of Catherine Newton, but I think she did a great job, especially, this sounds like kind of morbid, but like, especially when she's getting beat up, like it felt really believable. The whole theater was silent. So I think everybody did great. And I really do like Samara Weaving's scream. In particular, it sounds like a goat. It sounds very traditional slasher scream. So I like that. Anytime she's in a horror movie, I'm becoming a really big fan of seeing her in them. For production, I would also give it a 4.5. I think it's a really obvious big budget movie. We are stuck to this compound outside of going to the hospital in the beginning, but I would have liked to see a little bit of like a conversation of like, yeah, we control the hospitals, yeah, we control the police, but like you're not going to get in trouble. Like, I wanted at least that to be, you're not going to get in trouble, and here are the reasons why the systems are going to kind of remove you specifically from the system, rather than just kind of taking these rich people's word that like they can control everything. Because even about halfway through the movie, the sisters find a phone, trying to call the cops, and it goes directly to Sarah Michelle Gellar's phone. And she's like, we own the phone company, like, duh. If they're going to find a phone, they're going to call 911. We have to intercept that. So that level of thinking I really appreciated from the movie. Again, the only two pieces that I would say are, one, from what I was saying before, and the other is at one point they find a golf cart, the front gates are open, and they don't leave. So that to me is the biggest plot hole. That is the biggest reason why this movie is not rated higher, is because as soon as Grace and Faith find the golf cart, they should have left. They should have gone away. There should have been at least some sort of warning of like, we'll find you wherever you go, so don't bother. Like something like that that will prove more of why they wouldn't just leave. So from that perspective, it kind of pissed me off, because it was so great up until that point of just like a plot hole. Great. But the production outside of that, I thought was very well done. It's a big budget movie, and it feels like a big budget movie. And then for scares, it's not a scary movie, but it is a gory movie. So I would kind of say like 4 out of 5. If you can't handle blood, this is absolutely not the movie for you. If any even dot of blood bothers you, don't watch this. Like that is what a big majority of this movie is all about. So yeah, and then the same thing with like the brutality of, I would say even trigger warnings of like domestic violence, like that's in there too. So anything violent wise, action wise, that's where the scares come from here. Not so much like any of the devil stuff. It's not scary. But all in all, that gives this movie a 4 out of 5. Solid rating for Ready or Not 2. I went in with not really any expectations, because like I just enjoyed the first one. I didn't go out of my way to say like it would be one of my favorites, but I think these are 2 back-to-back really great movies. And this is a perfect example of how to do the second movie right. You know, like The Boy, for example. Absolutely love The Boy movie. The Boy 2 is one of the worst, if not probably top 3 worst movies I've ever watched, because it completely changes the story. It changes the rules. It changes the facts. Like it's a mess. This is how you do a second movie right. So I would recommend going to watch it, even if you just wait until it comes out. Watch it back to back. Pretty much everybody in our group agreed that the second movie was a little bit better than the first. So let me know what you think. And if you have already seen it, also let me know. Did you like the first one or the second one better? But thanks as always for listening and for your support, and we will see you next time.